All right, let's try take two here. I did the 20-minute video on my phone and forgot the mic wasn't working. hmm Anyway, my name is Steve Batichewski, and I'm making this video to try to bring some attention to some areas that really need it. And we're talking about stuff that matters, man. And it's with seniors. I me and my brother have lost our mother. She passed on the 29th of June, and she passed from a condition and how it exasperates other things, but she passed with a condition called normal pressure hydrocephalitis, and in simple terms, that is fluid on the brain. She was going to be 87 in July 17th, and was a vibrant one, and to say the least. But back in September of last year, and here we are in July, and in September of last year, she fell and struck her head, and it ended up developing the hydrocephalitis, the fluid. Um, this condition can be created naturally, but typically that's around 60 or 70 when it hits. But seniors, when they fall and strike their head, this is a real possibility, and it's a brutal condition. Um, and you know the journey that it takes to go through this is like I said, is brutal. Now, my mom had fallen from one of the conditions from this. Now, I'm going to be bringing other light to the condition through a book I'm going to write. That's going to be kind of like a guide, a book for idiots as to, when you're not medically in the field. And I had to research the hell out of this thing. And, I was the full-time caregiver to my mom. So I had to find out what I needed to do and, how to navigate the system and how to navigate her and the condition. But she had fallen, dislocated her shoulder, and as a result of that was put into physical rehab after a short hospital stay. Um, with it being that she also had hydrocephalitis. Now, hydrocephalitis, just real quick, for those that don't know, it's fluid on the brain, which is reducing the size of the brain, and it takes away your walk, it takes away your balance, it takes away your muscle control, takes away the bladder, causes incontinence, um, and then pretty much takes away the cognitive memory. So but it exasperates any other kind of condition. So if you have dehydrated, you're really dehydrated, things like that. So, but what it does is it puts that patient into what's basically the final stages of dementia, the 5, 6, and 7 levels of dementia. It puts them in because it's so aggressive, this condition. It's so fast moving and advancing. We discovered it after it started showing itself through October, November, and December. Um, and the CAT scan proved that at the beginning of January. Well, she passed 6 months later. That's how aggressive this thing is. But like I was saying, she had fallen, so she had gone into physical rehab. And she'd gone into a place called Brightwater. Fantastic place. These homes are great. You're always going to have a bad apple in every bucket of whatever. But these nurses, these aides, these doctors, these cooks, everyone that's involved in these homes work their ass off, and they do the best they can. And I completely commend them for it and honor them for it and told them that daily. But at any rate, the memory care unit is where your typical dementia, Alzheimer's, and PH, which is normal pressure hydrocephalus, patients are located at. There's different areas of the memory care unit and stuff like that. But you're in that unit, and that's where the patients that have those conditions or diseases are daily going about their world. She was in there 28 days, and I was there every day. Went typically 2, maybe 3 times in a day. Typically spent about 2 to 3 hours each visit, and it was kind of around her rehab schedule and sleep cycle. But as we walked, as we interacted, as we went through the various places in our visits, in my visit with her, I was interacting with the other patients, and the light that comes on when you do is so powerful. And the beautiful thing about caregiving was absolutely hands down the hardest job I've ever done, hands down. And I've managed 3 states in a district. This was the most challenging, and of course it was my mom. So that complicated and made it even more so. It's I have no regrets. I would do it 10 times over. But by being that for my mom, I was able to really have an insight into this condition. And, what I called the rabbit hole. After 2 o'clock, we climbed into the rabbit hole and I navigated. Um, you know, Tone, everything affects these patients. Everything, whether it's dementia, MPH, Alzheimer, tone in your voice, the expression on your face, that everything affects them. And because your mind is so powerful, I mean, what it does and what it can control, whether moving your toe, whether being able to control your bladder, whatever it is, your mind is controlling it. So it's also controlling what you do. And a lot of my past employees are just friends that still are, and people I interact with probably aren't surprised that I'm saying that, but it's, if you take the time, if you live in the moment of your chaos, we all make our own chaos. That's all on you. That's, so whatever that is, that's on you. It's no one else's burden. So whatever that is, deal with it. But I want you to take an hour, and that's what we're asking people to do in lieu of sending flowers in honor of my mom, because her obituary went out today. There's a link that goes to the obituary on the Goldfinch website. You can post, you can sign tributes and stuff like that. And we're asking people to do that because we're not going to have a service locally. We're waiting until Arlington schedules us, because that's where my dad is. And since he was a veteran, we have my mom has, a reserve spot with him. So that's where we're going to do the service and stuff. But in lieu of flowers, what we're asking, and it's a beautiful thing, it really is, because, man, this thing is powerful. I can't tell you enough how you're going to benefit, but you're going to shine the light on these people. And they exist in there. They do. They exist. But, all right, quit babbling. I know my friends are probably telling me that. But, what I want you to do is get a flowers. Go to your grocery store, spend $5, $10, whatever it is. It's cheap though. Grab a bundle of flowers. Go to the senior home that's in there. I know, here in Myrtle Beach and Carolina Forest area, there's like 3, so go to the one that's near you. They're all over the country, so no one can hide from this challenge. Go to the place. Ask if you can visit into the memory care unit and talk to the nurses. These nurses will probably, some may faint if you do this because it just doesn't happen. And that's the sad ass thing about that, is that I went there every day for as long as I did. The closest person to visiting loved ones was once a week, more once a month. I went there every day for 28 days. These people have nobody. Okay, they live in their world. Yeah, some may say they're checked out. And yeah, in a sense they are. But it's almost, it's in a sense a defense thing. But they're in there. And I say that because with my mom in this condition, she was able to basically convey what it's like. Because 3 hours of the day, basically from 10 to 1 time frame, she was able to communicate and tell me, that when she's doing things, whether that's getting up when she shouldn't, falling out of bed, getting up without her walker, falling, doing things that this condition, makes her do, she can't control it. She can't even, the behavior. If she's saying something, she knows she's saying it, but she can't control saying it. All right. But the real mom was there. And I saw that at the end, talking with her and being able to talk to her. She may not be able to communicate back at the end, but she was there. I know she was. She responded with her eyes. Whether it was crying from a closed eyelid, with things that I was talking about. They're there though. I saw that at the end and I saw it during. So it's these people that suffer from this stuff, man, they're in there. They may not be able to communicate it. They may not be able to come out and say, "Hey, Joe, man, thanks for coming by." Next time bring me a bag of chocolates or something. They can't say those things you and I can do, but they're in there. And I guarantee you, man, you take that flowers and you go into that home, you'll see the light. You will. It comes out of their eyes, man. It's just moments, but it comes out of their eyes, and it just comes out of them. A smile comes across. They forget the chaos they live in, because if you've never dealt with this kind of disease, any kind of these diseases or conditions, man, it is freaking brutal. So, doctors are great, but they have a job to do. So they remove the emotion to be able to do that job. I know that because as a caregiver, I had to kind of put my emotions aside to be able to be effective. Okay, so they do that. And, so it maybe isn't as, the picture isn't painted as bright or as specific to what you and I can understand. So that's why I tell you, man, they're in there. And if your parents are across country, if your grandparents are across country, if your loved one, is showing signs of some of these things, if your parents are passed, do it in honor of them. but visit them. Visit the seniors. You don't have to know the person. It's almost better if you don't. And take 5 minutes, man. Leave your phone in your freaking car. Take 5 minutes. You got it. I mean, it'd probably be an hour total time, drive time to the senior home, and drive back and you can jump head deep into your chaos again, and no one will say a word. But I guarantee you, you'll be better for it. You just will be, because it is a complete and utter selfless act. And we need more of that. We really do. Because I ain't going off on a tangent of any other thing. But society is kind of messed up. With more of the self worry rather than worrying about our fellow people. And talking to your neighbor. Going to a senior home and talking to a senior that probably doesn't have anyone visiting them. That's heartbreaking, though, man. I mean, to see that and the power of the effect that it has on you is big, man. It's just big. But you'll be a better person. And if you have any care in the world about trying to be a better person, what a concept, huh? This'll help. Really will. So do this for me if you can. Do it for me, my brother. We loved our mom very much so. And this is something that I know she's smiling down. Her energy is shining bright right now, because of this. So do this. And if you can, man, post the comments as to how it felt. I mean, hell, again, today's society, everyone wants to speak out, and give their opinion. Well, give your opinion as to how it affected you. But do it. Do it. You'll be better for it. All right, man. Peace.